परमात्मने नमः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम् व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। Dear Divine Selves, today I am going to present for you the quintessence of entire Advaita Vedanta. Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya says, श्लोकार्धेन प्रवक्ष्यामि यद्वक्तुं ग्रन्थकोटिभिः। ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मिथ्या जीवो ब्रह्मैव नापरः। Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that I am going to present before you the quintessence and the entire message of millions and millions of sacred scriptures in half a sentence, and that message is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The Brahman alone is the truth. This phenomenal universe is false, illusory appearance. To understand the depth and width of this message, I am going to take the help of Aparokshanubhuti of Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya, especially two slokas of Aparokshanubhuti, 43 and 44, would be doing justice in an effort to explain briefly this quintessential message of Advaita Vedanta. So the two sentences, shlokas rather, of Advaita Vedanta that we are going to take up to understand the entire message of Advaita Vedanta are 43 and 44 of Aparokshanubhuti, and they go like this. Chaitanyasyekarupatvat Chaitanyasyekarupatvat Bhedo yukto na karhichit Jivatvam cha mrishageyam Rajyau sarpagraho yatha. Rajvagyanat hirbhati yatvadrajorhi sarpini bhati tadvachitihi sakchat vishwakarena kevala. Vishwakarena kevala. So first I'll give you the running translation of these two verses, and then the detailed commentary would follow with examples and illustrations so that you could understand it. Chaitanyas eka rupatvat bhedo yukto na karhichit. There is no duality, distinction and difference in consciousness is always uniform. Homogeneous mass of consciousness is indivisible, non-dual. And Jivatvam cha mrishageya. To those of you who are beginner and who don't know, consciousness means Brahman, Paramatman, the Atman. In Advaita Vedanta, the Satchidananda, the supreme reality, the Atman, the Paramatman is of the nature of Shuddha Bodha, pure consciousness. So, Adi Shankaracharya is saying, there is nothing the consciousness that is the Brahman, in Brahman, there is no possibility of any duality, distinction and division because it's impassible, indivisible reality, and Jivatvam, the sense of individual personality and individuality. This entire universe has millions and billions and trillions of individualities. So he is saying that all the sense of separate identity with individuality is false, illusory. There is nothing other than that supreme reality called Brahman, that pure consciousness. All the other jivas or sense of jivatva and also the jagat, the entire phenomenal universe is mrisha, is false, it's illusory appearance. As in the case of a rope, due to misapprehension of the rope in the dim light, we come to misapprehend the rope itself as a snake and suffer the consequences. The moment we misapprehend the rope and we are subjected to the delusion of a snake in that rope, there is nothing there as substratum of the snake other than the rope. Rope alone appears as snake because of the first ignorance of the rope due to dim light, and second projection of something else, either a snake or a garland or a stick or anything could be imagined due to delusion. Even so, this entire Jivatvam and Jagatatvam, the separate individualities and the totality of separate individualities called Jagata, the phenomenal universe, is false because pure consciousness, that is Brahman, Paramatman, your own Atman. Don't think that this Paramatman, Brahman, or the pure consciousness is some separate, different reality. No, your own Atman, at the core of your own existence, you are nothing but pure consciousness, the same Brahman, the Atman, the Paramatman. And in that pure consciousness, there is no possibility of any division, duality, distinction. Chaitanyas eka rupatvat. Consciousness is of the nature of uniformity, homogeneity. How can you divide it? And that is the only reality. There is nothing other than pure consciousness. In other words, consciousness alone is everything. Consciousness alone appears as everything. Consciousness alone is all of all. So this is the running translation of the first verse. The second verse, which will supplement this very sloka and clarify further. Rajvagyanaatya hirvati yadvad rajurhi sarpidi. He's saying, the moment due to dim light we are unable to see or perceive the rope as rope, in an instant, chade naiva, in an instant, we have a misapprehension or a delusion of the same rope being taken as either snake or a garland or a stick or anything. So he is saying, illustration is this, Rajvagyanat hirbhati yadvat rajjur hi sarpini. That rope alone appears to say, so it becomes snake. There is no snake at all there. But for all the practical purposes, because of delusion, the same rope, which even at that point of delusion is nothing but rope and rope alone, appears as snake, and you, the misperceiver and the misapprehender, suffer the consequences. You run away helter and skelter. Oh, there is snake. You get frightened, you get terrified. Rajjur hi sarpini bhati tadvat chiti hi sakshat vishwakarena kevala. Amazing. This is amazing. It's a quintessence of all Advaita Vedanta. Bhati tadvat rajju hi sarp. Even so, similarly, the pure consciousness alone appears as this entire universe of names and forms. Either rope alone appears as snake or garland or stick without any other either instrumental cause or material cause or efficient cause being there for the snake. Even so, due to ignorance, this pure consciousness, that is Brahman, that is your own Atman, that is substratum of the entire universe, and it is indivisible, non-dual, one homogeneous reality. This is the point. This is to be understood. There is no duality in Brahman. There is no diversity in your own Atman. Paramatman is a homogeneous mass of pure consciousness. So, the substratum of the entire universe, that is your own Atman, is without any division or duality or distinction, but all the divisions, distinctions, like the individualities, jivas and jagat, are mere appearances, illusory projections of the mind, as in the case of rope, due to its ignorance, appears or becomes, to say so, the snake. Instantly, without any effort, without any other external factor. So even at this moment, when we perceive this entire world of names and forms as variety of objects, the beings, non-beings, inert, conscious, moving, unmoving, all this entire universe of names and forms is nothing but pure consciousness, your own Atman, appearing as something distinct from you, separate from you. You appear to be the subject, and the entire world appears as object to you. So here, one indivisible, non-dual consciousness, that is Brahman, due to Maya, illusion, appears as the entire world of duality. But even when the snake is terrifying the misperceiver, there is nothing but rope and rope alone. Even so, in the so-called phenomenon universe, there is nothing other than Brahman. There is nothing other than your own Atman. Your own Atman, that is of the nature of pure consciousness, is appearing as the entire universe. The universe is not separate from you. The world is not different from you. You yourself, through ignorance, through mental projection, as in the case of dream, have projected this entire world of duality. There is no sun outside you, there is no moon, there is no galaxy or stars outside you. There are no mountains, there are no oceans, there are no worlds outside you, separate from you. Nothing exists outside you. You, the pure consciousness, you at the core of your existence are pure consciousness, Shuddha Bodha Rupaha. Even at this moment and ever, the pure consciousness remains the substratum of every single experience, every single cognition, and every single thing that you experience as other than yourself. You yourself appear, you are the universal subject, eternal subject, but this universal eternal subject called pure consciousness or witnessing consciousness, Pratyagatman or Sakshi Chaitanya, is appearing as the entire world of names and forms. The world of names and forms that appears outside you, separate from you, other than you, is always in the reality non-different from you, non-separate from you, not outside you. Not because the Upanishads are saying, not even because Adi Shankaracharya is saying, it could be experienced, come and join me. You can experience it right now, right here, provided you have a sharp mind and you are free and independent enough to investigate it in scientific manner. Tell me, I challenge the entire world of scientific community. Vedanta is not a heresy, it is not a faith, it is not a belief, it's the highest standard of science. It is the supreme science of the spirit, it is the ultimate science of the entire infinite existence. Therefore, tell me, I am throwing a challenge. The Advaita Vedanta is rather throwing a challenge to all of you. Show me a single atom as existent or a single being as existent. Take, for example, a mosquito or an ant or a squirrel or a sparrow or a crow, or even a blade of grass, as insignificant as a blade of grass, as being existent minus consciousness. This is the most fundamental puzzle. It should not be so difficult for a rational, sharp, investigative, scientific, spirited mind to understand it. There is not a single experience, not a single knowledge or cognition, there is not a single existence that you experience every day which could be had, which could be experienced minus consciousness. Tell me, the table, I am at the moment, this table, where does it exist? Does this table has any existence outside my consciousness? Think about yourself, your own house, your own belongings, your wife, your husband, your parents, your children, your friends, your foes, your country, your motherland, sun, moon, stars. Can any of these objects exist outside your consciousness? Beyond your awareness, can you imagine of any existence, anything existing, anything being experienced, whether gross or subtle? Never, 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 no scientist can say that. Therefore, consciousness is the substratum of the entire universe of names and forms. The entire world of names and forms arises out of consciousness, exists in consciousness, and dissolves back into consciousness. Therefore, this entire universe is nothing but pure consciousness. Scientific paradigm. Prove me wrong. Let me give an example. Go on the seashore, sit somewhere in Goa or Mumbai on sea beach or Marina Beach in Chennai, and you watch the series of waves coming to hit the shore. The bubbles, the foam, the waves. So, can you tell me that the waves, the bubble, the foams do they have any separate existence from the ocean? Can the waves or foam or bubble exist even for a moment outside that ocean, or can they be regarded as other than the ocean? Can they be separate from the ocean? Not even for a fraction of a second. It's impossible. The ocean itself appears as waves, foam and bubble. Even so, and so you can say that the waves, foam and bubble arise out of ocean, exist in ocean, and finally dissolves back into ocean. Therefore, they are nothing but ocean. They are indifferent from ocean. They are non-separate from ocean. They are verily ocean. Even so, this entire universe is pure consciousness because it arises out of consciousness, it exists in consciousness, and it finally dissolves back into consciousness. But the consciousness, that is my essence, that is the core of my existence, that is my Pratyagatman, it never becomes non-existent. Now this is the second challenge. It is staring in the eye of any rational, scientific, spirited mind, but we are so blindfolded, fanatic-minded that we are not open to scientific inquiry. Can anybody prove that the consciousness was absent even for a nanosecond ever from anywhere at any point of time? Impossible. There is not a single human mind, because for other species we don't have direct communication link, but at least the human beings we know. Not a single human being can say for sure that I was not with consciousness, or I was free from consciousness, or I was minus awareness. No. Even if in the situations that ordinary person, a situation like sound sleep, sushupti, or swoon, or samadhi, ordinary people don't have those experiences, but sound sleep everybody has the experience of. So let's examine this. You see, sound sleep, you feel that, oh no, I was not aware about anything. There was nothing there. Absolute blankness was there. Everybody said that, no, I didn't know anything. Why? Because there were absolute blankness. The absence of experience, the blankness, the void that you experience during the deep sleep, sound sleep, is that pure consciousness untestified by the pure consciousness alone. If there was none, who and how can it be proven that there was absolute blank, there was void, and that was my sound sleep? It means during the waking state and during the dream state, you experience the world of objects, the names and forms, and during the deep sleep, you experience, the experiencer experiences the absence of experience. Nonetheless, the experiencer is present and the experiencing entity is present, and that experience alone testifies and proves that there was complete void for 6 hours, 7 hours. I was enjoying the sound sleep. So there was no experience. So absence of experience, the void of experience was proven by whom? Who testify that? That is consciousness. The consciousness can never become absent. So that consciousness is constant, immutable, eternal reality. That consciousness alone appears as everything. The consciousness is all of all in all as all. There is nothing other than consciousness, that is Brahman. The consciousness, that is your own Atman, is the only reality. There is no other reality. The entire universe is an appearance, a superimposition, a dhyas, and that appears in the realm of duality. That is what Adi Shankaracharya in the shlokas 43rd and 44th of Aparokshanubhuti says, that the entire world of duality, division and multiplicity and diversity in this world and the sense of Jiva and Jagat is illusory appearance. In reality, in our Atman, our own core of existence, that is our Atman, Pratyagatman, Sakshi Chaitanya, there is no possibility of any division, any duality, any distinction. I am always of the nature of homogeneous mass of pure consciousness, that is called Brahman, that is called Paramatman, and that is the supreme reality, that is the ultimate truth, that is immutable reality, that is unborn and undying reality. Once you go and watch your own consciousness, you become that very consciousness. There remains none as watcher. Witnessing consciousness never becomes witnessed. The universal and eternal subject, that is consciousness, never ever becomes in reality object, but that same universal eternal subject, due to illusion and through the effect of inscrutable Maya, what is called in Upanishads, this entire world of duality appears, but it has no reality. The reality, the substratum, the essence of this entire universe, even at this moment, is nothing but pure consciousness, the Brahman. That is what Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This Jiva and Jagat are verily none other than Brahman. When people say that, oh, what nonsense Adi Shankaracharya is saying, and you people Advaita Vedanti are saying that this Jagat is Mithya and the Jiva is Mother, this wall, this building, this sun, moon, are these false? They are not false in the sense that they have no existence, but they are false in the sense that they are as they appear. The sun is not sun, the moon is not moon, the galaxies are not galaxies, the stars are not stars, the human beings are not human beings, the mountains are not mountains, the oceans are not oceans, the animals are not animals. They are all appearances of the pure consciousness, Shuddha Bodha Swarupaha, the essence of all these, the substratum of all these names and forms is none other than pure consciousness. That is Brahman, that is Atman, that is Paramatman. Because pure consciousness and pure being are identical. Satchidananda, existence, all the names I said, mountains, oceans, animals, demons, gods, anything and everything you experience as existing somewhere at some point of time is nothing but pure being, and in pure being alone all these appear, and pure being and pure consciousness are identical, means one and the same. That is what the Vedantic Brahman is called Satchidananda, absolute existence, pure consciousness, infinite bliss. These are not three separate realities. For common man's understanding, it has been explained as such. Pure consciousness alone appears as pure being, and pure being alone is of the nature of consciousness. There is no existence outside consciousness, outside awareness, outside infinite intelligence. And this pure consciousness intrinsically, inherently, by its own nature is infinitely blissful. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Infinite bliss and pure consciousness alone is called Shiva. Shiva, the supreme reality, the Brahman, the Paramatman, my Atman is of the nature of Chidananda, blissful consciousness. And blissful consciousness alone appears as this entire world of duality and diversity. There is nothing other than pure consciousness. Tell me, the clay pot, clay cup, clay plate, clay lamp. Can clay lamp, clay pot, clay plate and clay cup exist without clay? Do all the vessels of clay, does any one of the vessels have separate existence from the clay? No. Any and every vessel made of clay is through and through clay alone. The name and forms are mere superimpositions. Take the example of now the gold. You have a lot of jewelry at your home, and for some reason you want to sell something, a part of it, or for some financial crisis if you want to tide over, and you take your family's necklace, golden bangle, golden ring, this neck chain, and go to the goldsmith, the jewelry shop, and tell the goldsmith that, please, I want to sell the necklace, I want to sell the golden bangle, golden ring, golden chain, but return back the gold to me. Tell me how much of money are you going to give to me? Listen carefully. That is what we are all deluded about. If you go to a goldsmith and tell the goldsmith that I want to sell the necklace or golden ring or golden chain or golden bangle, but return back the gold to me. I want to sell all this minus the gold. How much money are you going to get from the goldsmith? Zero, zero, zero. Why? Because the necklace, the bangle, the ring, the chain are nothing separate, independent, outside, different from the gold. The gold is the reality. These names and forms are imaginary. There is no golden jewelry separate from gold. There is no clay vessel separate from the clay. There is no wave or foam or bubbles on the surface of the ocean separate from the water of the ocean. Even so, this entire universe of names and forms is mere superimposition. The essence, the reality is that Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness. The pure consciousness alone has appeared as this entire universe. Bhati tadvat chitihi sakshat vishwakarena kevala. What a radical statement of Adi Shankaracharya. Vishwakarena kevala. Of the form of the entire universe, this pure conscious chitti means pure consciousness, bhati, shines, illumines. This consciousness alone illumines, shines at this entire universe. This entire universe is nothing but consciousness and consciousness and consciousness alone. Shuddha bodha, Shuddha sambhita, prajnanam. That is your own Atman. Therefore, to conclude, the one non-dual, indivisible Atman of the nature of Satchidananda or pure consciousness alone due to ignorance appears as the entire universe. So as in the case of the gold or ocean or clay, all the modifications of those objects were non-different from that, even so in our case, there is no world outside my consciousness, my Atman. There is no separate universe outside my consciousness, separate from my consciousness, other than my consciousness, different from my consciousness. Other than my Atman, other than my consciousness, separate from my Atman, separate from my consciousness, different from my Atman and different from my consciousness, there is no existence whatsoever, and I am that supreme reality, the pure consciousness, the Brahman, about whom Adi Shankara declares, Brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva paraha. Therefore, all the world you see, the jivas and jagat, the sense of individuality, are mere superimpositions, adhyasa, and they are all appearances, mere appearances in, upon and through me. There is no world outside me, there is no world other than me, there is no world separate from me. I alone appear as the entire universe. That is the reality, that is the grandeur, and I am cause. Abhinna nimittopadana karan, as Vedas say. This, the pure consciousness known as Bhagavan, Ishwar, Paramatman, Brahman, alone is the abhinna nimittopadana karan, non-different, efficient, instrumental and material cause of the entire universe. Abhinna nimittopadana karan means the God, the Lord of nature of pure consciousness, that is my own Atman, is ever present right now, right here, through and through, in every existence. And everything that you experience in life or in the world you are experiencing is nothing other than pure consciousness. That is why the reality is consciousness, the rest are modifications of consciousness. That is why called Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. To experience this, to realize this for yourself, for the immediate and direct experience, I will do some exercise for 5 minutes. I will take you at the core of your existence, that is pure consciousness, so that you could experience it for yourself. Shut out all your senses and then quieten your mind, and then begin to bring back all your senses and the extroverted mind at the center of your own existence, and thereby you are going to explore the dissolution of the so-called external world that you are experiencing every day, the entire world of names and forms, including the sun, the moon, the stars, the oceans and the mighty mountains. All these things are nothing but appearances out of you, upon you, through you. So take back your all senses and mind at the core of your own existence. Return back to yourself at the center of your being, Where is the center of your being? Locate it. Return back, return back. All your senses which were extroverted, you have shut out, shut them off. And now the mind has been quietened. And then what is there? Just see there for yourself. The witnessing consciousness that is universal and eternal subject is there. I am here, I am right now. Whether in samadhi or in the state of ignorance, I am ever present. So what remains? You have shut out your senses, you have quietened your mind. What remains now? As existing, as shining, ever shining. Aham pratyay. That which is ever shining as aham, 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 aham. I. That is pure consciousness. That is witnessing consciousness. That is indwelling self. That is Atman. And that is Paramatman, that is Brahman, that was never born, that never suffers any decay or injury or modification or mutability, that is eternal, immutable, indivisible, non-dual reality, that is substratum of the entire universe. I am the substratum of the entire universe. There is no universe outside me. There is no universe separate from me. There is no universe other than me. I, of the nature of pure consciousness, am ever existing, whether in the waking state or dreaming state or even the sleeping state. I was never absent. I was there to testify the absence of experience during sound sleep. I never suffer in reality any modification. I was never born. I have no chance of disappearance because I am absolute reality. I am of the nature of pure consciousness. I am at my essence called Atman. And there is no limitation either imposed by time or space or objects. I am Desh-Kala Vastu Aparichinna reality. I can never be circumscribed or limited by either time or space or any object. The entire realm of time, space and causality is imagination in me. I remain as pure consciousness. I remain as Atman. Therefore, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparah. I alone am that Brahman. I alone am that pure consciousness. I alone appear as this entire universe due to ignorance. And again I return back at my core of existence. In Samadhi, I experience that directly. When I return back at the core of my existence, at the center of my existence, that is in the heart, that is in the buddhi, antahkarana, there I am ever shining. No being can ever experience the non-existence of I-ness. And that I, ever shining, self-luminous I is Brahman. That is why it's Aham Brahmasmi, Sohamasmi, Brahmaivahamasmi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. Concentrate yourself and focus your entire energy at I-ness, the I, ever present I, see the I, then abide in I, become one with your I-ness. That is called enlightenment. It will take some time, it takes some efforts. The pure heart and pure mind is required there, but it is not so difficult once you have a desire, a yearning desire for liberation, for realization of your supreme immortal eternal nature, then you will know it. Let me wish and pray that you realize it sooner than later. चिदानन्दरूपः शिवो